Stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I can't see it. Oh yeah, there's Chad. It's also that all board members are present. I thought I saw Sue on Zoom. Yep, there's Sue. We'll start with fall commendations.
Hey everybody, this is Superintendent Barton speaking. We're just so happy to have some of our participants that we are able to honor this evening for their great accomplishments and representation of the Princeton Public Schools and Princeton Tigers. We just want to thank you all so much for participating. Acknowledge that this is obviously not the way that we would like to participate. Normally in a typical year, we'd have you all here present in our boardroom and we'd be clapping and shaking your hands and doing all of that in person. We did put a small presentation together that I do have posted on the screen here, and because I don't know who all is present, we will make sure that we say all people's names that are receiving accommodation this evening, and we would just ask for you to please maybe take yourself off mute and just acknowledge that you're here for us, and so we can thank you. This is pretty special because not all school boards across the state do this, and I think our board's pretty special in doing that. So Princeton Public Schools has a long history of commending students who have reached state or national finalist status in activities and athletics. Even though we cannot gather and honor our students in person at this time, please know that we are proud of you. So cross country, Julia, are you with us, Julia? Julia Dobner, congratulations, Julia, for your outstanding work. For our girls swim and dive team, Kaylee Metzela. Kaylee, are you present?
Yeah, I'm here.
Callie, hello, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Congratulations on your honor. That was pretty amazing. Now I understand are you a 9th grader this year with us?
No, I'm a 10th grader.
10th grader? Okay. Well, you have a bright future for us here. So congratulations on all of your work.
Thank you.
And we have a certificate that we'll be getting to you, okay? Let's see. We did cross country, we did girls swim dive. Boys soccer, Cooper. Cooper, are you present? I don't know that Cooper is not present, but we want to thank Cooper for his outstanding work on our soccer team and congratulate him as well as all of his team members. Girls soccer, Sydney. Sydney, are you with us?
She's not with us, but her mom and dad are here repping her, so.
Oh, awesome. You should be so proud. I know that you guys are so proud of your daughter and all of the participants on the girls soccer team. They did such an outstanding job.
Absolutely.
So, please pass on our thanks to Sydney, and we'll send her a certificate, and hopefully that will go in the garage at graduation.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank
And
you.
I also want to thank all of our coaches for all of your participation. I know we all know that you're hugely influential in our student athletes and student activities members' lives. So thank you so much. So that ends our student commendations. Chair Stramberg, there's a couple other pieces that we would like to do for commendations this evening that are a little bit unusual, but we think it fits the theme. Emily, I'm wondering if you could invite our esteemed guests onto our Zoom call.
Yep, I just let them in.
Okay. Hello, we have representatives from the Minnesota School Boards Association here to present a special award this evening that we're excited about. And we're also hoping that you'll participate in giving thanks to a school board member that this will be his very last meeting as well before we get to your honor. Howard Valancourt has been with our school district for how many years, Howard?
I came in January of 1969. I've been here 51 years as a student teacher, a teacher, involved in activities, a volunteer, a sub-teacher, and a board member. I'm now going to have a life.
And Howard, how many years have you served in the board capacity?
14.
14 years. 14 years. So that's extremely exciting. I'm wondering, would you be so kind as to take some pictures? And we have a special board, we have a bell that we're going to provide here that we're keeping out. Howard, on behalf of Princeton Public Schools, and I wish I could shake your hand and hug you and all the rest. But we have a special bell here that we'd like to present Howard for his 14 years of service on the Princeton Public Schools School Board and all of his service and commitment to our district. Howard, thank you very much. Let's do this here.
Thank you.
And here's your special bell.
Congratulations, Howard. Congratulations, Howard.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you for all your years of service, Howard. A lot of time committed to the school district.
A lot of, yeah.
I'm wondering if our MSBA constituents would be so kind as to introduce yourself and then maybe tell everyone why you're here, because I think some people are probably surprised that you are here. So if you take it from here, and we'll be able to hear you.
Yes, thank you very much, Ben, and welcome, and thank you to the Princeton board members for, and Howard, it sounds like you were a tiger through and through, right? It sounds like you've been a part of the system and have led the system, and I wish you the best in your retirement or the life after school boarding. You will be hard to take that hat off, but nonetheless, congratulations and wish you well. So I'm Kirk Steinman, the Executive Director for Minnesota School Boards Association. With me tonight, I have Deb Ulm, MSBA's Board President, and your Director, District 9, representative on the MSBA Board, Kirby Ekstrom from the North Branch School District. And so the reason we're here tonight is to make an announcement and recognize the good work of not only your full board, but one of your board members specifically, Deb Ulm, has been selected to be one of MSBA's All-State School Board members for 2021. This award is given out to public school board members who walk the walk. They know and understand and apply good governance. They know how to advocate for students. They know how to work with others, and good teamwork makes good results. All of these are solid attributes and part of MSBA's 5 board standards. And our association embeds those standards in all of our training, policy, governance, government relations. All of those pieces run throughout our association. And Deb certainly is a great picture of a great school board member and deserves this award as an all-state school board member. So it's my honor tonight, Deb, to recognize and show our appreciation for you living up to these standards, and congratulate you for being selected as one of the all-state school board members for MSBA. So congratulations, Deb. And before we give you the award, I'm going to turn it over to our president, Deb Ulm. Deb?
Hi, all. Thank you to all of you, your board members, especially your outgoing retiring board member, for all that you do for the students of your district and across the state. So Deb, this is from one Deb to another. I am Deb Pauley from the Jordan School District and the Minnesota School Boards Association president. Very honored to serve in that role. This award is our association's top honor, and it's given to up to 7 board members each year, and that's out of 2,140 board members statewide. So to receive this award is a huge honor. Since 1971, this tradition was usually held at our January Leadership Conference. With the conference going virtual, we are joining with your local school board tonight to honor you for your work locally and for all public school students in Minnesota. One example of Deb's nomination stands out. During the most recent teacher negotiations, board members were all over the place in support or non-support of teachers in the contract. Deb listened to everyone, talked to people to get their viewpoints, and worked with them to find their fears and biases. The district ended up getting a unanimous vote of support. Her board team also talks of her ability to bring a very diverse and opinionated board together and move the district forward. Congratulations, Deb, on being named to MSBA's 2021 All-State School Board. I'll turn it over to your district director, Representative Kirby Ekstrom, to say a few words from our selection committee. Kirby?
Thank you, President Pauley, and thank you, Superintendent Barton and Princeton School Board members. I am your Director, District 9 representative from North Branch, and also the All-State School Board Chair. The committee of 5 MSBA board members selected 5 All-State School Board members from many applicants. And let me tell you, this year, it was a tough decision to pick out the All-State School Board members. Out of all of these, Deb stood out from the rest. Deb is described as having a tireless work ethic and someone who is responsible, flexible, organized, and an effective communicator. She has also been described as carrying a velvet hammer to lead the board through tough decisions, offering advice while being constructive. In these polarized times, that is a tough task, and Deb has managed to be effective without alienating board members. She has the ability to bring people together and get to the focus of what really matters, and that's our students. From a 2013 All-State School Board member, I would like to congratulate Deb, and MSBA is proud to have you as its representative on the 2021 All-State School Board. Congratulations.
Just wait, we gotta do a nice little photo op here. Very good, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks. That was a surprise.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought Howard was gonna get some.
MSBA, thank you so much. On behalf of Princeton Public Schools, it's just an honor, a pleasure to be part of such a fine organization. You are definitely a class act, and we're just so thankful to be part of what you do, and you're a great teacher of all of us on how we can be effective and utilize best practices in our school district. So thank you again.
Thank you, and congratulations again, Deb.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations, Deb. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good
Congratulations.
meeting.
Thank you.
Guys.
Well, Deb, given that
Speech,
yeah, we never did give you a chance for a speech.
You got me speechless.
I've never seen that happen.
Of course, this is unusual. Typically, this honor would be given at the annual conference that's in January, and it would be in a big ballroom, and people would be eating their lunch, and then there would be a presentation and all of that. I'm sure that MSBA will, come up with some way to be able to showcase and honor you once we are able to get all together once again. So,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, Chair Strandberg.
All right, let's move on. Citizen comments. I don't think we have any. We'll go on to the truth and taxation portion of the evening. Michelle?
Okay, Michelle is going to lead us through this, and I will put the presentation on my screen so that you can see it. Michelle, are you there?
Now I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Helps to mute yourself. All right. Tonight is Princeton's Truth in Taxation hearing that happens every year. One of the requirements of the meeting is that the public is allowed to comment at the end. So Board Chair Strandberg, if you would make sure that once we get to the end of the presentation, that if anyone would like to make comments, that they can make those. But otherwise, we'll dive right in. So this is just the law, which I just explained. We have to do this yearly, explain our taxes. We also have to talk about the current year budget, and public must be given time to comment. Who and what impacts state levies? State legislator and the governor's administration, they set the overall tax policy. They have the sole authority to create school levies, and they control school levy parameters. So basically the formulas. School boards can ask the voters to approve operating referendums, which at this time Princeton Public Schools does not have an operating referendum. And they can ask voters to approve bond referendums. This is just a nice little picture. This is actually a year old. State and local revenues, though the price of government, we always hear about the price of government. As you can see, the price of government has actually gone down through the years. 2016, we were at 15.7%, 21, they projected 14.2. So, and then state aid impact, who collects? We collect. The state, the non-local schools, so your cities and counties, and of course the school district. We collect taxes, but who really spends it? As you can see, the pie kind of changes. We only collect 8% of the taxes, but we actually receive more tax from the state of Minnesota to fund our schools. So our pie, when we get to the spending part, gets a little bit bigger. The school district operates on more than one fund, or we have the general fund, which is generally our general operating, that has a whole bunch of categories within the general fund. Our food service fund, which feeds our kids. Community education, which provides adult education. Our building fund, which is for building usually bond levies, and we have a building fund currently because of some long-term facility maintenance. And then the debt service fund, which is basically what I call the school's house payment. You can go. In June of 2020, we approved an overall budget for the district. Total of all funds, estimated revenues is $43,830,000. Estimated expenditures at $47,600. A good chunk of the estimated expenditures being high is the building fund and Fund 6. And we made a conscious decision in Fund 1 to spend into our fund balance to keep our class sizes lower for the year. We planned a normal budget. This does not take into consideration the COVID-19 situation that we're in. So your general fund revenues are based on student enrollment. That is the biggest portion where we see our revenue coming from. Local operating levies, as I mentioned earlier, we do not have one. Special education funding, federal grants, other state programs, and participation fees. Next screen. You can go to revenue disparities, Ben. This is a nice little chart. This state of Minnesota puts out a disparities list showing how much districts receive in basic revenue, equity, referendum, and we have an optional revenue source that is state aid and levy that came into being about 4 or 5 years ago. Current, Ben, go back down. I'm not done. Currently, Princeton receives $7,458 for each ADM, and 47 school districts around the state are in the same boat that we are. They receive just what the state allows. They don't have an operating referendum. There are 37 schools that receive less than us, and part of that has to do with they choose maybe to do less on the optional revenue. But basically 247 schools in the state of Minnesota receive more than the 7,458. So those 247 schools, I believe most of them have an operating referendum. Enrollment is the biggest driver of our revenues. And as you can see, we've got a number of years here. From 14 down to 2017, we were slowly declining. And then in 2018, we had a nice increase in enrollment. We had another bump in enrollment in 19. And then of course, last year we opened our doors and realized that our increase kind of eroded away. Part of that is due to our next screen shot of open enrollment. We actually ended up with more kids choosing to go out last year, and we had a slight decrease in those choosing to come in. So that was the big variance that started off last school year. The other area that we have in the budget is community education. It's based on the adult population in the district. Early childhood is part of that area, and it's based on the number of children under the age of 5. We have also a big part of that fund is participation fees, and again, they also can apply for grants and operate with grants. Food service is based on the federal grant program of free and reduced lunch. It's based on student participation. We receive state aid generally for that. This year we are receiving federal aid because the federal summer program is going throughout the entire school year. But typically in a normal year, it's state aid. The district never levies for dollars for food service. It is totally independent of the levy situation. And then of course we have the other district funds. The building fund is our long-term facility bonds, which we are not levying more for that. That is actually part of the Fund 1 levy that was already happening. We just chose to borrow against it, and then we're paying that off over a number of years. And then the debt service fund is, like I said before, our house payment. All right, so that brings us to our school district levy, which is, it's created in 20 and it's actually paid to us in 21. So in the spring of 21 summer. And then it actually affects next school year. The 21-22 school year is when the revenue is recognized in the district. Ben, can you bring up there's another sheet there that shows the second one, I believe. So 6A, there's another attachment. There should be another attachment there. Yes.
Levy analysis?
Yep. So this is a lot of data, a lot of numbers. So I put it on a separate sheet of paper, but this basically shows us our final for school year 21, which was last year. The total levy was, I can't see that, but it's 7.9 million, I believe, or so. Can you slide down just a hair bit? So there's one more box. So our total levy for the district was 7,787,000 last year. It is going up. We're going up. All of this is based on formulas to a little over $8 million. So it's about a 2.69% increase. And there are really no major changes to the formulas this year based on policy.
Okay. Do you want me to go back to the last?
Yep, you can go back to the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Well, you actually have to get out, don't you?
Yeah, it's coming up. What slide do you want it to be on?
Keep going.
You're on 18.
We did that one, did that one. All right, next one. So then we kind of run a thing how your taxes are spent, how much of the pie is community ed, how much of it's general education, how much is debt service. Community ed is always the smallest. It's a very small part of the pie in any district. Debt service is at 44%. We are still receiving more in the general education area because there's so many categories there right now that we're at 50.9%. Next screen. As far as how much your property taxes support, by and large in our general fund, state and other revenue sources are 89%. Only 11% of the taxes, 11% of our revenue supports the district that is actually just local taxpayers. And then the community ed, the state is 74%. It's a larger percentage in community education that is property tax supported through revenue is 26%. And then the next one is debt service, and this flips. Property tax actually supports the debt service fund or the house payment for the district, where only we receive 16% of our funding through state aid for the bonds that we are paying on our buildings. So the proposed levy increase is $216,000 or 2.79%. As I said before, there was very little changes. We did, the post-employment benefits is actually on its second year. It's relatively new. And then of course the debt service fund, we always levy 5% more than the bond payment. And then they watch our fund balance in that area and reduce based on that if needed. So this is a year old, unfortunately, but it does show a year ago the levy comparison on a $150,000 residential home with neighboring districts. I can tell you that Malacca passed an operating referendum last year, so they would probably move on the other side of Sartell. But basically our neighboring districts, we do not have an operating referendum. Becker, Big Lake, and Elk River obviously do. So what impact has the levy for Princeton residents had over the last number of years? Our tax base has been growing. So if you go back to 2018, the impact on a $150,000 home was about $722. The impact today on 21 on a $150,000 home is $527. And that's because our tax base, we have more value in our tax base throughout the Princeton School District. So it has actually decreased quite a bit over the last couple of years. Of course, the causes of property tax increases, the changes in market values. There's change in class and rate histories that's handled at the state legislation level. There's also changes at the state legislation level. And then any voter approved referendums, which for this year, we do not have any voter approved referendums in either operating or a bond. If you have concerns about market value, those are discussed at a local board review at the county level, at the County Board of Equalization. It's generally in the spring. Typically, the final taxable market value will reflect a reduction, which is the homestead exclusion portion that came in a number of years ago. And it may exclude improvements to the property this year that may come on next year. There are property tax programs out there for those who are struggling to meet payments. I believe there's 4 or 5 of them. So the state of Minnesota funds those tax programs for the most part, and they can help reduce your net tax burden. So I like to mention this and also talk to your tax professionals about them if this is the first time you've heard about them. So you can click to the next. So they've got the Minnesota Property Tax Refund. That's a circuit breaker. The maximum refund, I'm not going to read all that, but the maximum is $2,657, especially helpful with those with lower incomes. And there is a state tax form to fill out in order to see if you qualify for that. Then you have a special property tax refund. It's available for all of homestead properties. The gross tax increase of 12% and over $100 from the prior year can qualify you. It's for annual incomes must be $105,000 or less. So, and that's a maximum of $1,000 that you can get back. Property tax refunds, the senior citizen property tax deferral. This allows people ages 65 and older with incomes of 60,000 or less to defer a portion of the property taxes on their home. And that, from what I understand, the property tax then would be paid when they sold the home. And then, of course, there's some other programs out there. We have the statewide property tax credit for commercial and industrial. There's the school building bond egg credit, which came in a number of years ago, which has been helpful to our egg area. And in 2017, the legislature exempted the first 100,000 of commercial industrial from the tax and eliminated inflationary increases. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens with taxes, and if you're having trouble, it does pay to go talk and to your tax professional about help, because there is help out there. Tonight, the board will vote on a resolution to fund or levy taxes for K-21, and that's just a copy of the resolution for tonight. That's later on in the agenda. So at this time, if we have any citizen comments, board chair can facilitate that.
Somebody in chat.
All right, do we have any citizen comments? There's one first.
There's one in chat there.
Just says congratulations, Deb.
Oh.
Is there any citizen comments on the truth in taxation? Last call for citizen comments on the truth in taxation presentation. All right, we will move on. Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll move on to board member committee reports. We'll start with Deb.
I had agenda planning last week and then finance tonight.
Eric Minks.
Finance tonight.
Sue.
I had finance and a C executive board meeting.
All right, Chad.
Nothing to report.
Jim.
Nothing to report.
I had agenda planning last week, and then I think that was it. And Howard?
My last community ed meeting. And revenue was down because we aren't doing anything. We don't have activities going. We aren't running facilities, and that was the gist of it.
Right. Student council report. Jacob?
Yes. So in student council, we recently changed our meeting time because of the new Wednesday schedule that the high school has implemented. We have been talking about new ways we can involve students. We are currently holding a what's it called? Oh my gosh, I'm so unprepared. We are hosting a ugly sweater contest. So students could send in a picture of them obviously wearing an ugly sweater, and the school would vote on who would win. The prize is a $10 gift card to Caribou Coffee, I believe. So we're trying to implement, we'll be doing more of that sort of stuff. We've been talking about other ways that we can involve student council in the school while still being full distance and not being around people, so.
All right. Thank you. Superintendent report.
Prior to this meeting this evening, we had a student learning district committee where we had teacher leaders participate, and they were able to give an update on the progress of distance learning. And I'm thankful to say that our teachers are feeling better about it and are feeling like they're getting some momentum in terms of quality and the engagement that they're having doing distance learning. Obviously, it's not the kind of instruction that we would like to be having, but we are seeing progress and seeing some good reports, and people are feeling much better about how things are going than we did when, a month ago, and we're just continually improving there, so that's good. That leads us to really the million-dollar question, which is, when will we return? And the truth of the matter is we don't know. The plan is, and this is based on recommendations from everybody that we're talking to from the state and the counties, is that we need to see what happens from the holiday and as it relates to the number of COVID cases in our areas. My plan is to convene our team, mostly of who are part of the medical and health communities, that will help us determine a target date for us to return. I will tell you that my hope is that we can return sometime to mid to late January, if that's possible. We haven't given a target date just because we don't know. That doesn't mean that we can't have hopes of when we can get to a certain place. We really don't want to come back unless we have a reasonable and strong feeling that we would be able to stay in that model and not have to jump back and forth. I think that's the one thing that I've learned and heard from most people, is the uneasiness associated with having to jump back and forth from models. So, this is a matter of finding the perfect timing, which is as soon as possible, but not too soon. And, our hope that once we return, we'd be able to, finish the year and get some momentum and hopefully, knock on wood, end the year like a typical school year would look like, with, the end of the year kinds of activities. Maybe I'm being too hopeful there, but, without hope, what do we got? So we'll just keep you informed, and we'll see how things go over the holiday season.
Ben, is there a proposal to get teachers inoculated with the state?
You're talking about the vaccine?
Yes.
Right now, that has been an area that we've been focusing on a lot with our public health. We haven't been having as many county public health meetings recently because they've had to focus their energies on the rollout of the vaccine. They are still making, decisions on the priority order of, who would be eligible for the vaccine and what that order might look like. And certainly education is in that discussion. I think we're all aware that that healthcare workers and seniors in long-term facilities will be first in line. And then after that, it's, there's a whole slew of other groups that will be considered for the vaccination, and education is amongst that group. So again, lots of discussion on that. From early discussions I'm having, the thought would be that we would, once we are able to offer vaccinations for our educators, that we would run our own flu clinics, and hopefully under the leadership of our own registered nurses and licensed nurses in the school district, under oversight and training from the state. So long story to share with you that we don't know for sure yet, but it's really being talked about a lot, and hopefully some of this will start happening in January.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Ben. All right, let's move on to the approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Howard, seconded by Deb. Is there any discussion?
I have a question. 10A, which talks about the benign polling places, has a resolution attached. Is this just information for us tonight, or are we acting on it? If we're acting on it, we need to move into action.
Michelle, can you speak to that as to why that got put into that portion?
You're muted, Michelle. Your mouth is moving. You can
Ben,
see it.
I couldn't hear what was being asked.
The question is, do we need the board to vote on the polling places this evening because it's listed in the informational items?
Correct. It is supposed to be an information. It is voted on at the organizational meeting. I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that we moved ahead with changing.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll vote by roll call, starting with Eric Minks.
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eric Stramberg, yes. Howard,
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
All right, the motion carries, the agenda is approved. Do we have a motion to discuss and act on previous board meetings? Do we have a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Howard, seconded by Chad. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll call, starting with Sue,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eric Stramberg, yes. Howard,
Yes.
Deb,
Yes.
Eric Minks?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. The consent agenda. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion made by Deb. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jim. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll call, starting with Chad,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Eric Stramberg, yes. Howard,
Yes.
Deb,
Yes.
Eric Minks,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes.
All right, consent agenda is approved. Moving on to information, the combined polling places.
So yeah, we put this on information tonight because in our, at the start of the school year, when we do our organizational meeting, we will have this resolution to be approved. It needs to be approved each year. But this time around, we are recommending that we change it to 2 polling places. We talked about that either in August or September. I can't remember which month, but it was a while ago. So we wanted to bring that back up so you knew. As far as how we organized it, anything in Sherburne County would be going to Baldwin, and then everything Mille Lacs County and Benton and Isani would be coming into the Princeton Depot here at the city of Princeton.
All right, is there any questions? All right, thank you, Michelle. Moving on to 10B, school board compensation. I'm guessing this is you again, Michelle?
Yeah, we put this on here because again, this will be at the organizational meeting. So we wanted people to be aware and ready to hopefully determine whether you're moving the bar on that or leaving it the same. So we thought you could have discussion tonight about what people are thinking.
All right. Does anyone have anything you'd like to talk about this? No?
Yeah, I think that more than anything, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that, that when we come to the organizational meeting, which will be our next meeting, that will be something that will be on the agenda. So we just don't want it to come as a surprise to you. So if you had anything, now you have time to reflect on that, so you can have probably further discussion at the actual organizational meeting.
Right.
I would just remind the board that any changes in that has to go through the finance committee and the policy committee before it's accepted by the board. So, you know, you've got the hoops to go through.
Right.
Yeah, and in the past, you know, the board does also have the ability at the organizational meeting to move that to a future board meeting if they needed more time
Yeah.
to get it through different committees.
Well, I believe in the past, a couple of times it went through committees, and then if it was an increase, it was retroactive at that. But it was just going through the procedure and the hoops.
It was on our board finance meeting tonight. So we did look at it. There wasn't a lot of discussion.
All right. All right, moving on to action. Do we have a motion to accept the 2020 levy pay 2021 resolution as presented?
So moved.
Motion made by Deb. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Chad? Seconded by Chad. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote by roll call, starting with Jim.
Yes.
Eric Stramberg, yes. Howard?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Eric Minks?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Chad?
Yes.
All right, the motion carries. There are no additions to the agenda. No future meetings listed. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Motion by Howard. Do you want to second it too? We'll let you second it. I'll second it. I guess we have a vote by roll call, starting with Eric Stramberg. Yes. Howard?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Eric Minks?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Chad?
Yes.
And Jim?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Happy holidays to everyone.
Happy holidays.
Yep. Happy holidays to you as well.